everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to a bunch of really short reviews. Now, I do quick reviews all the time, and we're getting close to the end of the year. Next week is the Winter Spectacular, and I am many games behind on reviewing. But I mean, that's the way it always is. But I thought, well, let me get some real quick thoughts on these. Really quick thoughts. So I'm going to go over 50 games. I'm going to time myself, see how fast I can do this. This does not mean they won't get a review later. They will, probably. Not always. Not every game gets reviewed. But these games will likely get reviewed in the future. I just want to give you some quick thoughts on them now. Are we ready? Set, go. All right. First, we have Blaseball. This is actually Blaseball Wild Cards. This is based on the online game Blaseball. I don't know much about that. I watched a couple videos. It seems interesting. This game is not interesting at all. I was not very impressed with it. It's very convoluted way to do some very simple actions of baseball. I'd rather just play some sort of baseball game. Okay, Barnyard. This is a little card game that doesn't even have all the rules in the rule book. Other than that, you're building a little grid in front of you. It's a two-player game. It's fine. It's like a button-shy game, but not quite. This one's also like a button-shy game, Arbortect, and this one, clearly, you're building a tree, and clearly, they played Sprawlopolis and Agropolis and all those games, and they're trying to copy that. So it's good. I just wish that it wasn't so blatant a copy. Okay. Oh, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to do two. We got Mindbug Beyond Eternity and Mindbug Beyond Evolution. Both of these can be played by themselves. The Mindbug's a great game from Richard Garfield. I like it a lot. Beyond Eternity is fine. Beyond Evolution is my favorite because you can upgrade your guys into even bigger, badder monsters. Of course, they can still be killed. All right. Bark Avenue. This is from Good Games. This is a pickup and delivery game where you're going to pick up dogs and walk them. You need to walk them around for a while. They need to get their walk out. And you need to get them to poop and all kinds of things before you get them back. You get points, and you're trying to pick up a dog over here. But it's still fairly light, but enjoyable. All right, Kelte. Oh, what a great cover. Love this cover. Love everything about this game, the way it looks anyway. As a game, it's just kind of okay, though. There's a lot of interesting actions. You're moving this piece around a rondelle to take some actions and scoring points, but there's not a lot of points in the game, and I feel like it's just missing shy of something that I would love. Uno Quattro. Uno Quattro is a game about, it's basically Connect 4 with Uno, because that's all these companies do anymore, is just mishmash stuff. Not terrible. It's fun, and you can also even move these racks and stuff. Yeah, it works for kids. All right, another game from Pythagoras, Gods of Rome. Another really cool cover, and I really dislike this one. There's an area control aspect to this, but it just kind of, you go back and forth, move things around, and I found this game to be utterly boring. All right, Maglev Metro Maps. This is 4 more maps for Maglev Metro. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 more maps for Maglev Metro. Each one with very different rule sets, and there's all kinds of cool things in here. It's very heavy. If you love Maglev Metro, you get this. You'll never need to get something else for sure. All right, City of the Great Machine. This is a one versus many style game that has some interesting ideas. The people who are many are trying to put on a revolution. There's a lot of cool concepts. You're trying to outthink each other, moving back and forth. The board and the components are really hard to see. That's the biggest negative, and that's what keeps me from loving the game, having to look up symbols all the time to see what they do. I like the concept. The execution is not as good, but that's mostly because of components. All right. Eater. This is basically tic-tac-toe on steroids. You're going to be playing cards in front of you, but you can play cards on top of each other that are higher value, and you can then also... There's a bigger grid of trying to get 4 in a row. There's a lot of cool things, but basically just think this. It's tic-tac-toe, but more. All right, Robo Factory. This is a game. It's a very light deduction style game where you're trying to figure out robots. It's almost too light, and a lot of times you're going to just have to guess on the deduction, but I still think it's interesting, and it's kind of like a My First deduction style game. Temple Raider. This is a game in which you are going to be using cards and dice to move pieces off. It's a mass market game, and I really wasn't expecting much from it, but it's actually pretty decent. It's not amazing, but there's some decent things, some really fun components. A little bit of take that to it. Pirate Tales. This is a push your luck style game, which you're going to roll dice and try to go through a certain number of cards. There's a lot of crazy luck in this game, and there's some wild events in it, but there's a really great components, neat dice upgrading mechanisms, and I enjoyed it. All right, let's grab a couple of these little ones here. Some fell. Loam. This is a game about the underground and bugs and creepy crawlies with some like clay artwork. Really like how it looks. It's a really fun game. Solo. Do not play as multiplayer because it is you take very long turns and you're basically just playing a solo game. But good solo. Rubber, paper, scissors. This is another tic-tac-toe mixed with rock, paper, scissors. And it works. It's really funky and odd, but I enjoy it. Secret Santa. This is a game in which you're trying to give each other gifts and you're stealing gifts from other people a little bit. There's a lot of these games out there. This is one of the worst. Don't really like it. All right. Joketown. This is a game about winter markets, which I love. Has a unique art thing, which I love. And has the ratchet mechanism where you move around a track as far as you can but you can never go back. With lots of different cards. Really simple drafting game. Great family game. Highly recommend. All right, Sheep Boom Ba. This is where we're going to move sheep around and try not to land on mines and have them explode. With a lot of take that. It's okay. Amazing components, but the game itself isn't really that great. It's fine at best. Aldebaran Duel. This is from Vladimir Suchi, who I really like his stuff. This one here is about getting cards, using them, has a little bit of the splendor, get discounts on cards in the future. The problem is it has 3 very distinct phases. Each phase gets more expensive, but without getting more interesting. So the game just feels like a slog the whole way through, unfortunately. All right, Zoo Tycoon. A lot of people have been asking me about this one. Zoo Tycoon, I love this game, one of my most anticipated games of the year. The problem is, while this game looks amazing, it has one of the worst rule books I've ever read, and it's incredibly complex. We're talking, a very complex Euro-style game. I don't know if I'm playing it correctly, and even if I was, I don't think it was particularly fun. It's unfortunate because it looks so very exciting. Apiary. Hey, the gang reviewed Apiary. They're reviewing it tomorrow. I'll give a little short review later on, but a worker placement game from Stonemaier Games. I think that it is fine. I think that it is fun and it's enjoyable. My biggest thing with this, though, is I don't know that I haven't seen everything in here before. So it's good, but I don't know that it's particularly great. All right, Waterfall Park. This is a reprint of Chinatown, a gorgeous reprint, and they also really, really streamlined the rules. If you like straight-up negotiation games, like if you like Zoo Vadis that came out this year also, you'll like Waterfall Park. If you don't like Zoo Vadis, you won't like this. They're very, very similar in that regard. Lots of straight negotiation. I enjoyed it, and I like the retheming a lot. Age of Comics. Oh, man, I love the theme of this, where you're making old comics and stuff. A lot of people I know have enjoyed this one a lot. I have found this one to be very, very, very okay. The worker placement is very pedestrian. The building the comics there's a little bit of luck in there, and that luck translates a lot into getting things, and it's just very straightforward. Get this comic, get this guy, get this, do this, get points. And I just wish there was a little bit more nuance to the gameplay. All right. Stifling Dark. You might have seen us play this one live. It has some component issues. There's tons of different little tokens in here that need to be, they just need to be more able to differentiate between them. But it is really cool about one person chasing other people, very similar to Terrascape, except Terrascape takes place in a mansion. This one takes place in a carnival or a lumber mill. And I love the theme. I think there's a lot of good things about it. All right, let's grab some more little games. Here we go. We got Whale to Look. It's a game about figuring out where some whales are, going out, taking people out to see them. A little bit of deduction, but it's competitive deduction, but very small, cool little game. Ito, if you've never heard of this party game, really fun, really simple to play. Cards 0 to 100, you get a card. We then turn over and it says a strong superhero. So my card is 75, and so I might put Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's pretty strong. And someone else has Hulk, and they have 80, so they'll say Hulk. And then someone else has Cyclops, and they say 92. And we're like, wait a minute, 92 didn't make any sense. You're trying to put the cards in order. Cooperative, little short party game, really fun. Geronimo. I don't know why this is Geronimo when these are definitely lemmings. And so in this game, you're just racing lemmings down a row. There's a lot of take that, a lot of crazy zaniness. Some people might like it. I was not that impressed. Alpaca. This is a deck building game. It's almost like my first deck building game. Look how cute that is. It just feels like it's missing something. There needs to be a little bit more to it. You just grab the best card you can afford at any given point. A little bit of take that I don't necessarily love either. It's cute, but that's kind of the best thing about it. All right, more little games. Oh, more fell on the floor. That's okay. Red Hot Silly Peppers. This is a speed game where you're looking for 5 of the same pepper, or 1 of every pepper, or 3 and 2, or something like that. As you've seen it before, this adds a few layers, but not enough. Carnival. This is a game about trying not to have negative but positive points. Take that. This is just really not a good game at all. Look at the Stars. This is a roll and write game with beautiful white wet erase markers, even though it says dry erase. They do not wet erase. But it's okay. You flip over cards, you draw constellations, but there's a lot of games like that. I wouldn't play this ever over Silver and Gold, for example. Money. This is a reprint of the classic game from Reiner Knizia, where you're trading cards in. If you've ever played a game called You're Bluffing, this has some similarities to that. I really like this. This little package here works too. Hoond, a trick-taking game. I think you saw us play this one live on the Dice Tower. Very unique game in which the trump is going to change each round, and you're trying to control these things. Unique and esoteric. I liked it. I don't know if I love it. Ticket to Ride Berlin. I'm getting a little tired of this mini-series of Ticket to Ride games, but this one here I think stands out a little bit more than the rest because it has like subway cars. I think this one might be my favorite in the little line. 16. This is an older game that was reprinted where you're placing tiles in a row. Very mass market style game, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. You're trying to mess with everyone else, trying to get rid of all the tiles from in front of you. It works really well. Me and my family have had a lot of fun with this one. All right. Oh, I got to grab these little ones on the floor. Ah! Okay, so Hens is a game in which you are collecting hens, and it's kind of a thinky game, but it's so luck dependent, so crazy luck dependent. I don't like this one. 5 Towers, I really enjoy this one. You're building 5 towers in front of you. Your drafting has a really weird bidding mechanism. Very much split. A lot of people here at Dice Tower do not like this one, but I found it to be enjoyable. FTW, this is a game from Friedman Freeze, which is play cards, and you're trying to keep the card with the highest number. I do not like this at all. Secret Number, I hate this game. It's terrible. You're trying to make a combination and figure out what numbers everybody else has, which sounds really cool. Unfortunately, the deduction in this game is severely lacking. Surface R's Max, super surprised by this game. I have not liked almost any loosey-goosey games, but I really enjoy this one. This is a semi-co-op game of sorts in which you are working together to build, everyone's playing cards in front of them, and you want to be part of the best poker hand. So much fun and such a silly theme. Very impressed. All right, Bantam West. This is a game in which it's kind of a sandbox Western game. Well, Western Legends already does that. This does many similar things, but lets you do so much in this game. There's so many cool things. Has a terrible rule book, and it's a little clunky in all the different things you can do. You're going to be constantly looking up rules and stuff, unfortunately. But, man, I want to like this one more than I do. It's decent. It could be better. Among Cultists, I'm constantly getting tired of social deduction games, but this one stands out. First of all, it's a board where the board matters. There are rules and regulations in place that make things happen for a reason, and it's not particularly long. So I found it to be very enjoyable. Council of Shadows. This is another game I never heard of. Really cool space-themed, colorful board. It is just another Euro in many ways. But it has some really neat mechanisms. I'm still not sure where I stand on this one. I like it. I don't love it, but I want to love it. There's a lot of cool things in it. At some point, I'll do a full review for sure. Archaeologic. This is a new social deduction game from one of the designers of, I think, the Crypto. But it is a neat game in which you're trying to figure things out with a clunky device. The device doesn't work as well as I'd like it to, but you're trying to put some Tetris tiles in a spot and figure out the proper way to do it. Mycelia, one of the many, 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 many mushroom games. This is they're billing this as my first deck building game, and the deck building game is essentially getting rid of the different water droplets on your board. There's a couple problems with it. It has a really neat mechanism of dropping drops down a hole, which doesn't work very well. Game-wise, it's a neat thing to watch. And it has bad symbology in it, and it's boring. So that just comes together not so well. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Cangaceros. Anyway, this is a game in which it's another kind of Western game where you're running around and stuff, but you are a gang, and you're trying not to get arrested by people who are chasing you all the time. This one is growing on me. I'm not sure where I don't think it's great, and I think it's a tough game, and there's some obvious things I think you need to do. I want to like this one more than I do. All right, Mercurial, one of the most beautiful games of the year. Gorgeous game from Good Games. This one feels like someone played Century Spice Road and said, can we make this super more complicated? And they succeeded. They just didn't add a whole lot of fun in there. So it just feels very procedural, very complex compared to Century Spice Road. And you keep thinking, why would I play this over that? And then finally, this reprint of Pueblo. This reprint from Pueblo from Mojito Studios, and it's not that great, unfortunately. Pueblo is a great game. This reprint's fine, but some of the blocks aren't put together right. The scoring track is horrible. You have to move things on all the time, and your tokens actually flip back and forth. Ugh. But other than that, I do like Pueblo, so it's worth playing. It's kind of an abstract strategy game. So there you go, folks. That's 50 games, and I got it done in 14 minutes. Huzzah. Okay, so I know that that's not particularly a lot of useful information, but hopefully that gave you some quick things. As the rest of this month goes by, and then as we move into January, we'll be doing full reviews of these different games. So hopefully you enjoy them. Alrighty, well, next week is the Winter Spectacular, so we're going to be talking about a lot more games then. I'll see you then. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been 50 Games in 14 Minutes.